Good morning. Market popping here. A few more people having to collect government money. Jobless claims increasing a bit day to day with these numbers. All right, so where are we at? Let's see. So we broke one pivot here, and looking at the futures, S&Ps, that hasn't happened in a while. So I guess the early stages of a wide trading range. Just looking at the hourly chart here. Let's say here. There's that pivot, and there's that high. Actually poked above the prior one, broke below here. So you can see the sideways trend. Up at resistance for the moment. We'll see how it deals with that, whether it comes back in or not. But retracement off of the low there. Really depends on where this ends today. If it ends strong, if it could hold on to the gain, clearly that would point toward possibly this move down just being a fake out. We shall see. It's too early to tell. NQs here up on NASDAQ futures. Trading range now going on for, over a month. Slop, just a giant mess. Some of the semiconductor stocks yesterday was showing some good relative strength. We'll see if that continues. Take a look at that. And let's see, the Dow broke the pivot, broke through minor support, not moving up as impressively as the others, coming up to an area where, sellers should emerge. Let's use this just to show the area. Of course, we have to make it red. Makes it stronger. So look, the way this came down, retesting, I said it yesterday, we're in for some chop. And that's exactly what we're getting. And in a choppy situation like this, you don't trade it. There's not any kind of a swing trading setup here. We'll see how it unfolds. The Russell, the depth of which this came down, again, suggests the chop is going to continue, that's been going on for a while. I mean, it looked like it was going to go down, up. And so we can't get too bearish. Going to lead a little more to the bullish side. I mean, we'll just have to see the recovery from what happened earlier in the week, how much it recovers or not. At the end of the day yesterday, the buyers stepped in. It looked like it was going to close with a continuation lower. So as we look at the spiders here, that tail, yesterday's tail was larger. It was almost completely down here. And so that would have suggested, breaking here. But look, where is it gapping up to? That's a big gap up. It's gapping up into that red bar. So that's going to leave us with a void. Gapping up to that pivot. Lots of resistance up there, as you can see. And yesterday's reversal lower, rallied up to that pivot. Sellers came in. It was going sideways there, and then, just made like out of nowhere. It seemed like, yesterday it just fell like a rock down into here, the next pivot, and bounced a little. And now, gapping above that. Let's see this 15-minute. Yeah, just gapping up above there. So, as you plan out your day, we'll see where it is by the open, gapping here, And that should be where it finds support if it begins to come in. Right. So there are going to be sellers there. That's our black and white assumption. It's up at this pivot, but there isn't a lot of data there. There's some over here on the other side of it, but traded above and below. So there's just this reference point, and it looks to me we're in for just a trading range, and there's a bunch of Fed guys talking. Who knows what's going to come out of their mouth? I don't think anything we haven't heard, but just seems like more chop is what we're going to be in for. And yesterday's low is going to become a level that should not be violated. It should not. Prices shouldn't even come down there today, considering this gap. It's just we'll deal with this move up and just see what again tomorrow's news brings, and whether we just stay within this slop area over here. SPX, that's up. I had already anticipated, going higher, so we're above here, which should be fine. If S&P moves up a little more in the next 20 minutes, you should be able to go 52.75, which I think will be fine. And as that's going up, this 5,200, which would, I think, it'd be a no-brainer. See if you might have to come up to 52.05. Again, prices should not come down here today. No way should they come down with a gap up that's taking it up there. So the put spread should, I think that's a no-brainer one. If it holds on, but I just don't think it's going to make new all-time highs today. All right. You can see the Qs just gapping up into that mess. Transports. It's just more of the same, trading range, not going anywhere. Interest rates, I can see there. That was green before, it's down a little bit. So it came up to this area where I mentioned, these overlapping opens and closes right there being resistance. It hit that area, it's backing off. So there's nothing decisive, I would say. It's just more of the same, chop. I mean, this was decisive that it got above this area. Now, does it stay above that area, these interest rates? And does it move around here? And does it start moving up? And again, right now, this move down here, the dollar's moving down, the gap up, any additional downside has got a reprieve for the moment. We'll see how things develop from here. So Bitcoin is up, so a little bit more enthusiasm there. Well, the market finds a little legs, but lower high. Does it hold this low? Trading range, as you can see very clearly on the weekly time frame, overlapping bars back and forth. SMHs, maybe they're going to get going here today. They're up at that resistance, but held that pivot low, same trading range. So some of them look better than others, that's for sure. Financials, trading range beginning, uptrend, made a higher high. Where are they here? Up a little bit. So pretty much the same there. Regional banks don't look good, right? I mean, they're in a trading range, just more slop, looking for something that is decisive. Technologies in a trading range. Retailing, which have been doing good, that came down real hard. Oh, that's the big nasty red bar on the weekly. So that's certainly a negative, but it's on major support. We'll see how those things hold up. And airlines on the 20 on minor support, vertical move to the downside. At this moment, reversing a breakout bar. So that's a negative, but we got to see where it ends up on tomorrow at the close. Energy clearly doing the best, starting to accelerate. And of course, where's the golden cross? Here it comes. Crude oil. We were talking about this, kind of joking about golden crosses and death crosses yesterday in MT Live. But here's one that maybe the media will start talking about. Oil looks like it's going to head higher. And maybe this, in the next day or two, we'll hear about it. I'm talking about it, the golden cross of the 50 pushing up through the 200 on crude oil. Gasoline, we looked at that yesterday. You can see that's that cross took way back here, and that looks higher. Some more inflation concerns, which the Fed is now struggling with what's in their face, and basically the demands for rate cuts, which now they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do. Commodities starting to go vertical. Oh, it's not a good signs for inflation coming down. And it is what it is. Ideally, we would get that lower inflation and they'd lower interest rates, and not just for the markets, but just for everyone. The prices out there are ridiculous. Maybe we've been spoiled for too long, but I don't think so. They really F things up with this coronavirus and this current administration. So what more is there to say? Yep. There's the dollar right here. You can see that starting to come off the highs there. So the euro, but just trading range. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. It's like things have moved quite a lot. Equities moved quite a lot, and the corrections have been through time so far. And whether we're in for a price correction lower, we'll see what things look like at the end of the week. And the end just still hanging down here at the lows on that support. And so we just need a little more information. And we're doing our stock picking, which has been going okay. And so it's not a terrible market. Things, market-wise, things are pretty choppy and erratic, but there's plenty of patterns out there that we're finding that are quite nice, right? And that's okay. And that's it for me. All yours, Dan.
That's it. You just started. Yeah, talking about nice patterns. So that happens a lot where we say, I wouldn't touch XYZ index. And then we're finding beautiful patterns all over the place. I mean, here's one right here. Qualcomm entered this yesterday. Beautiful, beautiful consolidation yesterday. MT Live, moving averages. And this some other great example. The setup occurring right at the rising 20. Spiders, though, I wouldn't touch this as a swing. So Greg, you mentioned Corona. Barry Diller was on one of the financial channels, and he was saying, yeah, this whole work thing, people into, hey, I want to get paid more and I want to work less and stay at home. He's like, well, no shit, Sherlock, who wouldn't? And yeah, he's like, it's just ridiculous. Some guy was on the other day predicting a 4-day work week now, I guess following Europe socialism. All right, YouTube are all asking about tandem over yesterday's high. I mean, that's a sloppy buy setup, but it is on an uptrend. Daily, weekly, monthly broke out. I just think I can find better, Raul. Um, like I know it's comparing apples and oranges, but this is a trade we're in SEMO. And I'm actually working on an MT Live where we're going to talk about just this one stock, this chart the entire time. There's so many beautiful concepts on this. But see, this is a nice controlled retracement, buy setup, reversal, minor support. So this one is a better, much better. And I think I have some others left over from yesterday that were buy setups also, like Tiva. Let's see, Tiva was on the list, gapping down. So now you can actually set an alarm up here at 1410. See what it does, or maybe we get a 1, 2, 3. All right, alarms going off. Said G. Said G. We have a directional here. This is solar. Look at tan. This thing is trying so hard to make a turn. And I mentioned, the daily is a microscope of the weekly, so it's on major support, but it's still in a downtrend. So is this consolidation and a downtrend to make a new low, or is it consolidating on major support to be a big W bottom trend change? I don't know, but there's evidence to suggest that it doesn't want to go down anymore. So we're long this in our ETF letter. The monthly is still in a downtrend. It's a bear 1, 2, 3 on the monthly. But if this holds and this thing does, rally to $60, whatever, we're going to come back and talk about this turn. So Don, you're always busting my, what about, why don't you guys buy on support? I'm like, we do all the time, man. So here's a prime, it's just on a daily chart, not on a 2-minute chart. But this is a prime example of anticipating a trend change, buying on support. All right, I'm not buying a breakout. I'm not buying this over $48. We're buying a turn on support. All right. SMR alarm went off. We've been sitting in this for a while. We have a nice open game now. Let's set a new up alarm. Set a new up alarm 680. And we had break even stop. An LPG alarm went off. We're long this. Looks great. Break even stop. DXCM. Let's see, here's another kind of sloppy buy setup, Raul. So this isn't bad over yesterday's high now as a directional. We just have a put spread. Oh, I didn't look at your TRN, Raul. Yeah, there's another buy setup. I kind of like this one better. It felt fairly sharp as opposed to that SEMO coming in more controlled. So this one, I would love a 1, 2, 3. Let it rest. Put that on the list. NTAP alarm. We're going to buy. We gave this as a long over yesterday's high. Amazon alarm. We have a put spread on this. We talked of yesterday. We talked about a directional. Uptrend, daily, weekly, monthly. Now the gap's messing it up a little bit. Let's look at, those are all my alarms going off. Let's look at earnings now. BB. Yeah, breakout, bottoming pattern. It's worth watching. Levi Is that all-time highs? No, far from it. But that percentage-wise, that's a massive big old gap. But the gap's too big for me. What do you want to do with it? November golf, no pattern, RPM 115, bearish gap. That is a dodge. Is Dodge in the house? Dodge, 5-10 minute low. That is a tall spread candidate. Lima whiskey, tanking here, so I have it in the middle chart. And all I do is label this big old gap. Let's see what it does. There's no other name for this. That's a big, nasty gap. CAG 3070 gap breakout. It's bullish daily, weekly, monthly. It's a buy on a pullback. Sample, nothing. Downtrend. Rate us. Now, Raul, this, typically we teach, hey, buy setups are in uptrends, rising 20, 50, etc. But this is actually a buy setup from a bottoming pattern that broke out. So this is still a buy setup on minor support. But as I just said, from a bottoming pattern, not from an uptrend. But my point is, it's still worth watching. I like it. So I don't see any prints. Let me set an alarm at 2034 for now. Angle, it's a mess. These are some marijuana was moving yesterday, so we started nibbling around there. Here's some other miscellaneous stuff. SPWH, I forget what the news was. I think maybe earnings, Sportsman's Warehouse. That's in a nasty downtrend. That's going to take time. Hertz, I think got a downgrade to sell. I think I read. Look at that. This isn't a death trend. I didn't Hertz file bankruptcy 2 years ago. And this is when it came out of bankruptcy. Looks like they might be headed right back there. And Car might have got an upgrade. I forget, but let's watch it. Whiskey got an upgrade, and I posted that as a put spread. Did I give it to you all? Here, I gave 2 put spreads that were gapping here, AMD and whiskey. Hey, so Raul on YouTube, since you're asking me about buy setups this morning. Now this is a buy setup at the 20, came in hard, has a price void. So they're still tradable, but we don't expect a new high is all. Now, see, the gap is too big to consider a directional, but we'll see, that keeps moving up. So I seriously doubt we're going to get my desired credit, but this one, bullish gap, that's a total put spread I do. Lunar gapping up, bottoming pattern. Let's maybe 30-minute high. LNN, why am I looking at you? I don't know, maybe earnings, but volume's too late. Square got a downgrade. Downgrade slide. I had this on my core watch list, but it has to get over this right shoulder, and it's having a very hard time. Bravo Kilo, yeah, put on the list. Carl asking about Goggle. Yeah, I like it. And I like, Carl, the fact that it's gapping down. Because then your entry is yesterday's high. Yeah, his goggles are like one of those shippers, I remember. All right, Square, doing nothing with Para. Yeah, what's going on with Para? Ripped into the close. Now it's coming back to earth. That's a nasty gap under 50% into that range. Google had some news last night. I think wanting to charge for their AI, but then it got smacked right back down. I just had a Moss alarm, bottoming pattern, breakout. See, breakout, bottoming pattern. Remember yesterday, moving averages. Look, this is a beautiful picture of a bottoming pattern with flat 20 and 50. Actually, this 20 is rising because they move faster. So this is on my watch list, Moss. Said, gee, we talked about Polo. This has to be a SPAC or a meme or something. Crazy move. But it started moving yesterday, gapping up today. We'll see what it does. Akamai. Why am I looking at you? Oh, I'm looking at you to, if you cannot bounce, then shorting. This is a breakdown, daily, weekly, relative weakness. Two others that are on our watch list for shorts on a bounce, Starbucks, breakdown, daily, weekly, monthly. McDonald's, daily, weekly, monthly breakdown, but there's just no good entry right here. But they both look good for shorts once we get an entry. CAG, yeah, I just mentioned Patrick, it's bullish daily, weekly, monthly. We need a pullback though. Scott, NEE is a buy setup. See, Raul, here's another buy setup. So that, so now you just gotta, it's gapping over the entry, so you gotta figure out how to get on board. Is it extended? Do you want to pull back to a 30-minute high? NEE, SPV. Okay, so it was a gap breakout from a bull rectangle. So it's extended on the 15. So ideally, you want a 15-minute buy setup. I had up alarm on this. MTUM alarm. Marvel. Hey, Marvel, look at that crazy move. Alex, remember our discussion yesterday of a directional versus put spread? And I said, look, I'm not, don't like the close, of course, but there's nothing I can, nothing I can do for my put spread because of the $70 strike. Within that, AMD is 80 cents right now. W Whiskey, I have them in both computers. Yeah, W Whiskey, I'm getting 61 cents. So we're not, we need a pullback. AMD. Let's do AMD midpoint right now at 79. So this gap is not as big as I thought. So let's do it over the high, 183.02, the put spread. Over 183.02. Currently 78. All right, so here's the adjustment. Set an alarm, LPG, low alarm, shoot. AMD. Maybe 303. Yeah, so you can do it on a pullback down. So again, that's related to our discussions all the time. And I say, yeah, if there's a pattern. So this one could be